It was cut.
And now, Jabroni Studios, in association with Big Herm Productions, is proud to present to you, recording from an undisclosed location in Oakdale, Connecticut, it's Chris Burns, it's Chris Lynch, this is Dysfunction Junction.
Strangely enough, Diddy did have sex with that woman many times, and then he sold her off to the highest bidder, like the fat sheik on the boat in Taken.
Yeah, that's it.
But Diddy hadn't gotten shot yet. Ladies and gentlemen, boy, this week has given us a lot to talk about. Oh, the ongoing saga of Gypsy Rose. My man Ron DeSantis making a move that may or may not be detrimental to parents.
Oh, it's going to be detrimental.
Well, we'll get to that. Of course, the new Roadhouse movie that everybody in the free world liked except Lynch. And there was one other topic that we were dying to discuss, but we'll get there if we get there, when we get there. You know why we get there? Because we're on the fucking train. The train ride from hell. The nonstop to nowhere. And here it comes. Welcome to Dysfunction Junction.
Yes, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. My name is Chris Burns. With me as always, the co-host with the utmost and the chin that knows no sin.
Chris Lynch.
And of course, the producer extraordinaire, the man with no hair, who nightly on a certain iRacing forum, I say, if Duke wins this race, Herm will grow his hair out. And everybody says, no, don't let him grow his hair out. We like the way he looks. So you have fans.
It's long right now.
Yeah, but you have fans, Herm. You don't even know it. Fat Matt is going to get a Big Herm tattoo. You don't even know. It's Big Herm, Michael P.S. Herman.
What is up, everybody out there watching?
Oh, my Lord. Could it get any worse this week, gentlemen?
I'm pretty sure it could have. I mean, it could have.
Likelihood is high.
I mean, it definitely could have. You know, I mean, like, today we had the Francis Scott Key Bridge is just, and
gone.
Wikipedia is already updated. It now refers to. It's already this morning, like by 9 a.m. It was referring to the former Francis Scott Key Bridge. Yeah, so that bridge is gone, but
I love the fact, not that the bridge collapsed, because I feel bad for everybody involved, and until we know what happened with that boat, I'm gonna reserve comment.
I can give you some insight.
To hear the conspiracy theorists come out in force.
That boat lost power and control. You could see the boat. They were having having some sort of issue, and just before it hit, you can see the whole boat just go dark.
Yeah,
it went dark twice.
Because
there's
a rule actually there in the harbor there, that regardless of where you are going, you have to have. It is a law. That a local pilot, because of the difficulties of the water, the local pilot has to take all ships out of port there. So even if you're going to, Mozambique, it still needs to be a local water native captain or pilot, rather a pilot.
I got to look something up
to take that ship out of berth.
And from what I read before I left work was that there were 2 local captains or pilots on that boat, and actual sensible people that actually have some knowledge of boating and all that stuff said that because of where they lost power, when they regained it, that ship was doomed from the minute it first lost power, because you cannot swing a boat that size that quickly and that far away from the bridge abutment. They did what they could with no steering and no engine, no power behind them. My heart goes out to everybody that was involved in that. They knew it was enough of a problem that they were able to blockade a partial blockade on that bridge. They'll disallow people from going across because they send in a mayday before you see the video footage of them coming in frame from that still camera that was parked across the harbor.
Yeah, Walsh had the Mayday call on his show today, and I was just terrified listening to it. They knew something was going wrong. Yeah,
it's hard to listen to.
But I wanted to fuck with Herm, and it turns out I can't because Mozambique is on the east coast of Africa, so boats can get there.
Well, yeah, they can. They can.
I was thinking it was landlocked in the middle, like Kenya.
No, it's on the coast. It is it has an ocean coast. Yeah, you can't get to Mozambique that way. No, it's definitely not Kenya. No,
you have to go around the Horn.
Yes,
is Mozambique part of the Ivory Coast?
I believe so.
Considered the Ivory Coast,
like up on the yes.
Baby,
just unfucking-lievable, man. I can't. It boggles the mind. I want to hear more. I want to see more, but as it turns out,
that was the turd on top of the crap cake from this past week. Is that happening?
Yeah, we'll leave that as the shitty hat on top of the week. But you guys came up with a whole bunch of fun shit, and let's roll through them one by one. You know what? I think we just I'll flip a coin. Whoever wants to lead, go ahead. Bring your best story. Unless Lynch says Roadhouse.
No, we're gonna save that for later.
Thank you.
You want to talk about DeSantis?
We could lead with DeSantis. Why not?
With the dumbass.
All right, so
the sandtits. Yeah, sure.
Oh my Lord.
So, in his infinite wisdom, he's trying to get a bill passed in Florida.
You said you used that word, and I'm not sure you know what it means.
Which one? Infinite or wisdom?
Wisdom.
Okay.
I'm gonna leave that alone.
Is deciding to push through a bill that would disallow, was it under 14 years old to have
parental guidance
or parental permission to have any type of social media account, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Discord, anything has to do with social media. Now, we kind of brought this topic up together last night, and I think we all agree that's a pretty bad fucking idea. You're taking the rights of the parents who are actually responsible parents that guide their children and keep tabs on their children. You're taking that away from them. Herm brought up perfect points because I asked the question, why does a 12-year-old, just rhetorical, why would a 12-year-old need or 12 or under?
Was because social lives and sports and school events and intramural activities start at the age of 6 or 7.
Right, and it all starts early. It was different. It was different than when we were kids. It was a different time, and our parents knew exactly where we were because we would tell them where we're going and what we did. And if we didn't, and we got home, oh, where were you? Oh, I was at Scotty's house. Oh, okay, I already had dinner. I'm going upstairs. Okay, no harm, no foul. But the parents actually ask questions. Nowadays, kids don't have that guidance from their parents. They're plopped in front of a fucking television or an Xbox or their phone or their iPad and left to their own devices. That's why these 14 and 15-year-old girls get catfished by 50-year-olds who are jerking off to this fantasy that they have with this 15-year-old girl and catfish them into believing that I'm a 16-year-old boy and I can give you the world.
I agree.
I have personal firsthand knowledge of a situation like that's happening in my family right now. Nowhere near here. I heard her speak those words, not the niece, or actually cousin's kid, but my cousin told me that story. I'm like, what in the actual fuck? Where were you? Well, I'm like, well, what? How does that go unnoticed? But anyway, that's a different topic. I think it's a bad idea. You're taking parental rights away from the parents, much like teachers finding out the kid wants to identify as something other than they really are.
Well, it's not just that. He also wants the accounts completely deleted. So if I'm under 14 and I'm 13 and the bill's signed into effect and it's my birthday in 3 days.
Yeah.
Okay. That everything that I have is gone and I have to now I have to completely start all over and all of my data has been erased, and everything about me has been erased.
I'm gonna throw
extreme government overreach.
I'm gonna throw a bit of a flag there, because knowing how we all feel about this bill, and B, me being me, I read the bill. I did. I went and found it.
Yep.
Part of that is true, but it goes back to the parental permission, and it has to be monitored and regulated through a parental account. They can't have, like, Emma has a standalone phone. She was on Stephanie's account. I was going to put her on mine. My parents ended up putting her on theirs. But again, she's 16. She's had this phone for a year and a half. I didn't let her even think about social media till she was 13. And even then, she had 3 rules. Your mother and I have to be on it. If at any time we ask you for your phone, you willingly give it up the moment we ask you. And it will come at random times. And once that trust started to build, it happened less and less. I forget the third caveat. Oh, if for any reason that you break these rules, your phone gets taken away, and the only time you get to answer a call is if it's your mother, me, or your grandparents. That's it. And we told this to my parents. My parents would thought, oh, well, we paid for it. That's great. She's our child.
Right.
I don't disagree with you for having got her such a very nice, expensive gift. I'm all for it. But until you pay my rent, pay my bills, you may pay for the phone, but she still has to answer to us.
Right. I mean, it is all well and good when their intentions are, their heart's in the right place, but
correct.
It's you on the hook if she does something illegal.
Darn right.
Look, let's just get that out of the way.
But
you're on the hook. You and Stephanie are on the hook.
Herm's part, what Herm and I read the bill. Herm heard about it. I'm all for it. Yeah, it does kind of crack down on if they already have active social media presence. But how do you legislate that? That's my boondoggle in the whole thing.
Oh, we haven't even discussed that. How do you regulate? How do you? That's easy, sweetheart. No, that's fine. We'll just make you a new account, switch it over, and we'll tell them you're 18.
True. You could do that.
I mean, if they want to go as far as like proof of age with like a birth certificate or something.
No way.
You can't do it. You cannot do it.
There's no way it'll happen. They cannot force you to use,
because that is the overreach to the fucking extreme.
I would say that
I certainly don't want any social media company having any fucking piece of paper that aligns with who my actual identity is.
So
that's insane, and we all know it.
Yeah.
Papers. Let's see your papers.
I'm just throwing it out there as maybe one of the caveats, because they've come up with dumber ideas in the past. So it wouldn't put it past me that they would think to do that. Oh, we need to see their social security number and their birth certificate. Go get fucked. It's my child.
Well, here's where I was going to go with my caveat, is that if your child has a pre-existing account and it says that they are 13 years old, they're born in 2011, they have a presence on Facebook, the next time you sign in, just to keep it on the up and up. I'm not saying that people couldn't do what Herm just suggested and go, yeah, go ahead and sign up and tell them you're 18. That opens up a whole can of worms for what Lynch was talking about, but it still happens. It'll say, going to need your parents' permission. Now, I've gone to websites like Miller Lite. I've gone to websites that promote whiskeys. I've gone to websites, the Golden Banana to be one.
Are you 21? Yep.
Well, they'll ask for your age and where you live.
No,
that's about it.
Any fucking gun website just asks you, are you over 18 or over 21?
Right, I understand that. And they're just looking to get you in there and look at guns. What I'm saying is if there has to be a caveat in this, if my daughter were 12 or 13, had a social media presence, and it comes up, I put my name in, I put my phone number in, I put my email in. So if anything goes sideways, I'm the first to know. I'm not the last to know.
Right.
Which then I would agree, because I am a fan of a lot of the things Governor DeSantis has done over the last few years. This is not one of them. This is definitely not one of them.
Okay,
this is simple overreach.
All right. So I got a question.
Sure.
what is, in quotes, anything goes sideways that the system is going to notify you about? What
Hell,
that it's not monitoring now? I mean, let's be honest. What's the system going to know?
Christ, I get popped for shit I posted 7 years ago. Those bots are always working.
I'm aware of that, but we're talking about if someone's doing that, we're doing it in private messages, and nobody's reading that shit. So how is all of that information going in with your name and your number and your social security number, where we can find Chris Burns? How is that actually going to do anything if, quote unquote, shit goes sideways? Because shit goes sideways with parents in the fucking room. So I guess what I'm asking is your caveat. What is it actually doing?
I just think there should be
feel better. It
I
makes
understand.
you feel better, and that's it. It makes you feel better. That's
If
all.
If he's going to put this in place, and I don't know if it's going to pass.
It won't.
I don't think it will. Kind of like the TikTok.
See Jesus pop out of the fucking toaster.
Kind of like the ban on TikTok. If the Chinese company doesn't divest, how are you going to stop it? I'm saying that, if all systems are monitored, look, there has to be parental peace of mind in anything they do nowadays. Like Lynch said, we lived in a different world. We had a big rock out in the woods in Norwich where my buddy would steal his dad's Playboys and stash them. This rock was really weird formed. It had like a little, looked like a cubby hole in the rock. He'd stash the Playboys in there. I'd be like, hey, we're going to go play in the woods. We're going to go play Capture the Flag or Cops and Robbers or some bullshit. And they're like, okay, have fun. When it starts to get dark, come back for dinner. You know what we're out there doing? Staring at Playboys.
Yeah. I'm going to go play Jerk the Gherkin. I'll be back.
The internet has opened that door, so you don't have to go in the woods and do that anymore. I don't know. I don't know how you regulate it. I think there's a peace of mind factor that, in my mind, because I'm already past this level. If some of you are still operating on that level, chime in, let us know. But there's a certain peace of mind that I would think that if this goes in, which it won't, the social media company has knowledge of your age if you put it on there correctly. Mine's on there correctly. They just monitor me to make sure I'm not saying stupid shit against trans people, which I've been good. You have to admit, I haven't had a ban in a year, 2 months, and 9 days. I've been behaving myself.
You need to get one of those signs. We've been accident free.
Yeah, but as soon as I put it up, Lynch, you know what's going to happen. They're going to dig up a post from 2018, and it's going to go back to 0.
I mean, I guess you could go by age, and if anybody over the age of 21 or 18 is talking to somebody underage, that's fine. But let's see how that happens nowadays. With let's say we go that route.
You got all these phantom accounts with no info.
Here's the problem. Here's the problem is that every time a coach or a team mother or another team mother or another coach or a teacher or a band practice or anybody of any age, I've got to fucking deal with it. Now, I don't like getting stupid fucking notifications about dumbass shit in fucking NASCAR from assholes most of the fucking time. Okay? And that happens less. There's going to be 30 of those fucking notifications a fucking day. At some point, the parents are going to be like, yo, this fucking sucks. I got to check my phone every fucking 32 seconds because it could be a fucking pedophile or somebody talking to my shit. Now you're over contacting and you're oversaturating and you're overstimulating.
Okay, what if I throw it out like this? And I'm not, if I were part of the Florida legislature, I would throw this out there. At any point in time during the day, let's say we'll use Herm as the example, and we'll say that Brenton is not the age he is. We're going to dial him back a couple years.
Yep.
At any point during the day, you log into your Facebook, you send us a couple foul messages, you fuck with Marsh, who's not here tonight, by the way, because he's half gay. And all you have to do is click one button, and you now have access to your child's Facebook, not only their messenger. It doesn't have to be you're getting blown up like Corey and the other guys. It just means that you, at any one particular point at your choosing, could go, click, let me see what Brenton's up to. Oh, all clear.
Facebook already has that. It's called parental controls. I go in and Brenton has an account that's
Yes,
set
he
up
does.
that's set up for children. It doesn't do ages, it doesn't do birthdays, it's an account you set up. Like, as a responsible parent, you go in and we set up an account for Brenton that it's a kid's account. We were able to say who could text him, what was or wasn't allowed. These precautions already are in place. That's the problem. All of these policies and these cautions are in place already.
So
he's trying to mandate into law something that already occurs, but by doing so takes away rights.
So
I'm with that. That's the part that I'm with.
Walk it back a few steps, though. You're in Florida, okay? There had to be a reason that he came up with this idea. All right? You're in Florida. The majority, and I'm just guessing, the majority of your households down there are single parent homes, no family unit.
Oh, see, I thought that was Illinois.
No, Florida is full of a bunch of them, because
Okay.
you got a lot of places in Florida you've never heard of. The little
Like
towns,
Cripple Creek.
but little towns with, smaller populations than, say, Tampa or Fort Lauderdale, that have these broken structured homes where the kids pretty much can do whatever the fuck they want. So you have to go, what is the root of the problem? What problem is he trying to solve? Is it a problem that he's foreseeing, or is it an existing problem? My bet's on it's an existing problem, and it's flooding fucking court systems because in Florida, because they don't have the resources to fucking put these people in jail. I don't know about you guys, but Florida's mostly fucking swamp. And putting up a brand new medium security to high security prison isn't exactly in the cards for most of the state of Florida. Number one, they're fucking completely under budget down in Florida. They don't get the money that other states do from the feds. Only in times of disaster with hurricanes and shit like that. So what's the problem? What's the problem he's trying to solve?
No. They don't take the money.
Okay, so
they're not offered it. They don't take it. And they're not Colorado that has a surplus of money coming in from extremely well-run weed business. They're just saying, no thanks, because then we can make our own choices, and we choose to have our people poor.
I've only met a few poor people from Florida. That's just me. Again, that's just me.
That's not the rest of the state.
I believe that because I've been through Cripple Creek. I've been through Silver Springs. I've been through, dude. I know.
So
yeah, look, if this gets past the House legislature, I'd be very surprised. This is and there are going to be parents like us. I'll throw Lynch on board too, because you're a godparent. This is taking all of the rights out of, and I'm painting with a small brush. If I lived in Florida, you are taking my rights away as a parent and telling me how I should raise my kid. It's like Wisconsin was another state that said you can't trans a kid under the age of X with surgeries and hormones and stuff, which I think is great. They don't have consent. Nobody does until they're 18 years old. What do you do after 18? Nobody gives a shit.
Well, it just shows you the mindset of the people who are running the country. It's okay. It's life-saving healthcare. No, it's not.
No, a triple bypass is life-saving healthcare.
Or a fucking liver transplant or kidney transplant.
There you go.
That's a life-saving procedure. You don't need to put kids on puberty blockers and hormones at 12, 13 years old. So it just gives you a kind of like a flagpole as to where the country's attitude is about it, because I don't think it's a large percentage of the population in the United States, but they're being very loud about it, saying that, you're marginalizing this out of existence. No, you're doing that your damn self by sounding like idiots.
Yeah,
Next.
I'll give you that. I just think it's wrong for the government to tell you how to parent, how to
I think it's
maneuver
wrong
your
too.
children.
It seems very I got to be honest. It seems like a very left pandering idea.
It is, because you're pandering to those people who want it, who want that. They want the inclusivity. I want to be active in
Well,
my
no,
kid.
what unfortunately what you're pandering to is parents that don't do their job, and then when something happens, they go, "The government needs to do something about this."
No,
No,
bitch, you need to do
you should
something
have
about it.
done something about this.
Well, 'cause
My
those are the
kid
same-
fell off a bike. Sue the town. No, sue your kid for not riding the fucking bike correctly.
Right.
And sue you for
well,
not
it
teaching the
depends,
kid.
You know, is it because the guy that owns the sidewalk didn't fucking take care of it and left it somewhere he could break something where somebody could get hurt? Well, that's on his ass. But if the sidewalk's perfectly fucking fine and your kid's just fucking retarded and fell down, that's on you.
That's
There
your
was a-
ass.
There was a case about somebody got into an accident with a vehicle, and the person who was the victim, because the vehicle failed, they sued him civilly and won, because he had to he bought this vehicle that was on a list of like recalls and stuff. I'm like, these are the same motherfuckers that stand out with their hand out for everything. Well, motherfucker, you want to get, you got to give. Do the work. Be a parent. Be present. Don't be a piece of shit. Just stand there with your hand, may I have some more, please?
Well,
Because I didn't get quite enough government assistance last month.
I wasn't trying to be my kid's best fucking friend.
That's the problem. They treat these kids like they're their buddies, and I'm sorry.
Or that they're equals.
I grew into being. My dad grew into the role of being my best friend. But
yeah, and it happened after the age of 25.
21.
Really,
21.
really, when you but around there, and for us, I say that because that's usually the age when kids and shit start to happen, and you start hearing yourself saying the same fucking things you remember your father yelling, and you're like, I never thought I'm never gonna be that way, and then kids are like, yeah, you are.
Do you know?
Little
I don't say
little skin puppies.
I don't say a lot of the shit my dad used to say, but somehow I grew my mother's finger.
Yeah.
And if I'm yelling at Emma and I'm starting to get Herms, you guys have both seen me when I get upset, I start to shake a little bit. Like when I'm ridiculously upset, I start to shake a little bit. And I'll put that finger up and I'll look and and Emma looks and she starts laughing and I go like this. I'm like, where the fuck did that come from?
All right, Grandma.
Right? It's just, stop who said it? Which one of you said it that, this is going to lead, this is going to lead
when they fucked up and I, without thinking or skipping a beat when they were little, and they said they were sorry. And the first time the first time, don't be sorry, be careful, just came the fuck out of my mouth. Pop.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
How many times have you used the term, I'll give you something to cry about?
For real. For real.
I had a little bit of my dad and a little bit of my grandfather when Emma was about 4 or 5. We were actually watching Lynch's house. And I'm cooking up dinner. And Emma's there and she's playing with the dogs and everything. And she comes over and she wants to help. I'm like, you're too little. Don't touch the stove. Don't do this. And she just thought she was queen shit. She didn't touch the element. She touched the pan and immediately went, ow. And I went, hurt like shit, didn't it? Oh, fuck. I am my father and my grandfather all rolled into one. And not my grandfather that was the father to my dad. This is my grandfather on my mother's side.
I told you it was hot.
Bet you won't do that shit again. All those phrases came out of my mouth.
Honey, don't put the fork in the outlet. No, hold up. Let's see where this goes and see what he learns from this situation.
I will say, if I took one thing from my granddad, he would do this to me all the time. Hard day of work. I'd go visit him a couple times a year when he was in Massachusetts before he moved to Florida and eventually passed. Come home from work. It's a hard day. I'd go sit right next to him. Grandpa, how was your day? Oh, the day was tough, Chrissy, and this and that and the other thing. And I turned my head for 1 second, and you immediately, if you've ever been around my grandfather, know he was a jokester, would take his shoe and throw it in my face and say, "Tell me that don't stink."
Ugh.
So Emma and I would play that game when she was little. Tell me that don't stink. And
what-
she
Go ahead,
one
Chris.
time, no, it's okay. She one time, I don't drink a lot of milk. I'm lactose intolerant. I refuse to buy that lactose-free shit because it tastes like butt. So I will suffer buying milk. Well, she came over and she wanted a glass of milk, and she poured it, and she noticed that this is not on the up and up, and she walked out with the glass, and she sat next to me and went, "Tell me that don't stink."
Jesus.
Every,
I'm like,
every once in a while, I'll be talking to Megan, especially when I'm talking about like I'm heated and I'm just trying to like vent.
mhm.
I'll get done with the sentence. You just turn and look at me. You're like, "All right, Larry."
Oh wow.
Yeah, I did sound like my dad there.
See,
say
I've
it's-
never heard
I'll
your
s-
dad, God bless his soul. I've never heard your dad angry. I always saw him. He was happy to see everybody. He was the life of the party.
Yeah, well, that came later in life. When he was young, in his 30s and 40s, woo, boy, that boy was
All right.
different.
Well, I think
Woo.
we're all in agreement. It's one of the few things I disagree with Governor DeSantis over, but this is doomed to fail, and I hope it does.
Yeah, yeah. This ain't going to be pretty.
Right. Moving right along. Herm.
Like two birds of a feather.
Oh wow. If you were on parole and your parole said, "Don't drink alcohol, don't eat fried pickles, and don't scratch your ass," what are 3 things that you're not going to do?
Yeah, those 3
If you're on
things that
parole.
you mentioned. Yeah, but Gypsy Rose, just decided to say fuck that.
She got away with murder. Well, almost got away with murder, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, pretty well. She did pretty much. She got away with
Well,
the
she
least amount of
didn't
jail
do the
time
killing.
could do.
She didn't do the killing, but she sure as fuck planned that motherfucker.
Neither did Charlie. Just saying.
Charlie who?
Manson.
Actually, he took part in one murder, but they never convicted him for it because they got Bobby Hinson for it.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what they accuse you of. It only matters what they convict you of.
It's what he admitted to. You got to. I'll send you the book. You got to read this book.
I know what you're talking about, but the fact is he only went to jail for murders he didn't commit.
No,
but
conspiracy is a bitch
yeah.
too.
So
but
while Miss Gypsy Rose got out of prison and was living her best life,
fuck that.
pictures
YOLO.
of just her in pictures with champagne. There was drinking, the social media presence, the exposure. Basically, the article I read phrased it as she's listening to her parole officer, and with some guidance, she thinks that deleting all the social media accounts would probably be for the best.
Yeah, she shouldn't have started them in the first place.
So basically, her parole officer told her, "You need to shut this shit off and delete it all and make it all go away, or we're sending you back to jail." Sorry, not jail. Jail's different. Prison.
We've been in jail. We know. Prison.
Prison's a completely different building. Trust me.
Watch Wentworth, just one episode. You figure out prison in a quick minute.
Yeah.
Look,
I don't think it's long before she's back in for something.
I don't know. I mean, you watch the docs, and I know they all paint her in this
right,
tragic.
But that's the whole thing. They do, but here's the thing: that tragic story was all about her being at the center.
Mm-hmm.
The court case was all about her being at the center.
So you think
the release was about?
Bless you.
Excuse
Bless
me.
you.
So
Knock it off.
The,
anything after 3, it's attention, Jeremy.
All of the specials were about her being at the center. The release was her at the center. The social media accounts upon her release was her at the center. She's got nothing to put her at the center socially anymore. What started with her at the center was the thing with her mom, and then she just found some sucker that put her at the center. So if there
Bingo.
are no other avenues to put her at the center for her attention seeking, she will find a way and some sucker to put her at the center, and something will happen again.
Yeah.
The way I look at it, and I don't have much to say about her. I think she's trash. I watched the documentaries. I watched her spin her yarn 6 different ways to Sunday. At the end of the day, regardless of what your mother did to you, there are other avenues. You basically conned some dude by throwing your puss around and had her killed while you sat in the other room. You sat. Oh shit!
Take your pill.
Take your
Thank
pill.
you.
Yeah,
you
you
sat in the other room and
was
listened.
and listened.
And she cried your name. That's heartless. I have more sympathy for OJ than I have for Gypsy Rose. But at the end of it, I'm going to put it to you this way. This girl is an attention whore.
Yeah.
Proved it the
Oh,
day
yeah.
she got out of jail with opening up Instagram and Facebook and Snapchat and everything. I put her in that same attention whore gimmick as I put David Hogg, who has done nothing with his last bunch of years except try to gain sympathy for the shooting at his high school that he was not even anywhere close to.
Yes.
And that's another story for another time. I don't want to shit on David Hogg too much. I'm not Vince McMahon, for crying out loud. But Lynch, go ahead. Tell your Gypsy Rose.
I think I called a couple months when we originally talked about her because she can't help herself. I actually was actively following her social media just to see, and
you are a special kind of dude, and I'm not saying that in a bad way.
I love train wrecks. I love train
Oh,
wrecks like like most people, a lot of people I know, and I wasn't surprised because I did see some of the shit she posted that I'm like, why I don't know if she should be doing that. So then when I heard why it happened, I was like, makes sense. I equate it to what Herm said. She was the center of the spotlight, so she's going to do everything to draw all the attention to her. Look at me, look at me, look at me, and then it bit her in the ass. I don't feel sorry for her. She's dumb. She knew better. And will she make a return? Maybe. As long as she's on parole, she shouldn't. Yeah, I think they did the right thing by killing it early, but maybe it should have gone the other way. Maybe she should have been like a learning moment, learn from this example, send her ass back to prison. Who knows? But that's it. That's all I gotta say about her because she's a fucking train wreck, and I enjoyed watching it.
I don't know, man. There's something about her, and not in a good way. Like you said, you say everybody loves a train wreck to an extent. I honestly thought when the word came out, Gypsy Rose is getting out of jail, I'm like, good. This is your chance. This is your opportunity to create the life that was robbed from you. And I, like you, I signed on for about 2 weeks. I followed her Instagram. And then I was just like, you're really not doing this correctly. And I'm out. Peace out.
No,
Not that she cared.
I didn't want to bail because I knew it was going to get good, and it got good, and she, see ya. Wouldn't want to be you. So much for second chances. Because she just proved she can't fucking help herself, and she's going to go back to prison. I'm calling it now. By the end of this year, 2024, she'll be back in prison.
I will take that bet. I think you're right. I think she is a less good-looking version of Lindsay Lohan at this point. Just can't help yourself. Got to be in the spotlight. Going to keep getting in trouble. Going to keep fucking up your life.
Lindsay Lohan had a kid. I didn't know that.
It's not mine. I wasn't
I
there.
was going to say I wasn't there.
I think she's actually married too.
It's not me.
Wow.
Although,
like two things I never would have thought to hear that.
Although until the court order came in, I emailed her once a month saying, I'm ready. Let's get married, bro. Let's do this. Mean Girls Jones. Let's do this.
Yeah, she was a victim of her own stupidity as well.
A lot of that's too fast, too quick. She was a star. Speaking of Lindsay, not Gypsy.
Yeah.
She was a star at an early age. She knew nothing but the Hollywood culture. Her parents didn't exactly teach her right from wrong. There are child stars that flourish, and there are child stars that fall like a rock in a pond.
And it's hard. It's hard for a child actor to. It's a very delicate thing to go from the kid actor to being taken as a more adult older adolescent actor. It's a very hard step to go from kid actor to adult acting. It's harder for girls than it is for boys.
Oh, absolutely. Because you're banked on your cute looks at 12,
right,
15,
and you're
14 years old.
You're banked on this pure innocence.
Gentlemen, I'll be right back.
Yep.
And we'll be left front.
And then in order to convert yourself to an adult side of that coin, there's an amount of being a woman involved with that.
Yeah.
And not just being a little girl.
You
having
that documentary.
Right. And having to have people view you as a young woman versus a little girl is kind of difficult.
Yeah, you watched the documentary because we all watched it this weekend.
Yeah.
When that girl, I can't remember her name, but she went through puberty, and one summer she came back, she was like, "Oh shit!"
It was Amanda Bynes.
And then now there was another girl that was before Amanda that she was one of the first girls I interviewed, and she was featured in the show all the time. And then puberty happens, and then they slowly write her out and hire somebody just like her.
Right.
I mean, that's the sad fact of fucking Hollywood. I mean, you kind of age up you either age gracefully and you have roles for the rest of your life, or you age out, and it's for kid actors, it's really tough. Because a lot of them get that stigma because, I'll only ever remember her for Mean Girls, or I'll only ever remember her for The Parent Trap. You know what I mean? Because the opportunities, either they fuck it up themselves, or the opportunities just don't present themselves because their use by date is way past its prime.
I agree.
Oh, wait, there he is. Straight back from a piss break.
Actually, no. For the first time in Dysfunction Junction history, I actually did have to take my pill.
We were right this time.
Did you really said that, or just a go take your pill when the alarm goes off?
Yeah,
I just said it because the alarm went off.
All right, because
you were actually correct this time.
That's always been the joke, but this time, yeah, I actually had to take my pill.
So we were just talking about that Disney documentary the three of us watched this weekend.
Oh, the Nickelodeon gimmick.
Gimmick, yeah.
Nickelodeon, sorry.
Oh.
So, like, we were all discussing the transition from child to adult actor.
Mm-hmm.
One of the first girls they interviewed for that documentary, I remember saying that she was featured pretty heavily in whatever show it was. All that. I'm not familiar with any Nickelodeon programming, so this was an eye opener for me. And then she came back the next summer, and she had gone through puberty.
Yeah,
looked more like a woman. So they hired somebody that looked just like her at a young age, and then wrote her out. I mean, that's kind of fucked up. But do we want to? Are we going to talk about Dan Schneider? Are we going to go there?
I think we should. I'll give my brief opinion because the way I saw it and the way I'd heard about it, because so many people were talking about it when it got released on Max, I believe it was,
Mm-hmm.
was that Dan Schneider is a perv and he's this and he's that. Well, some of that's true. But the more you watch this doc, the more you find out Dan Schneider was just a scumbag that turned a blind eye to a lot of the wrongdoings that were going on. The production assistant, the trainer, open about their pedophilia. And Dan Schneider, as executive producer and higher up at Nickelodeon, did fuck all to stop it. And he has all the power. He's got all the stroke. He could immediately go, okay, Jason, that was one of the guys. What? You're a kid diddler? You're fired. Oh, this one, you're fired. He never lifted a finger, not once. And before you start, Herm, the last thing I'm going to say about it is when they showed his statements on the screen, because obviously he refused to be interviewed. Why would you? You know you're guilty as a motherfucker. Oh, I need to learn how I have a temper. I need to learn how to be a better boss. I never knew this was going on. He was in the room with some of those guys, not exactly touching them where the dolly meant to show that they were touching, but hugging and squeezing and rubbing shoulders and, oh, you're my favorite of all these actors or actresses and blah, 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 fucking blah. Nope. Dan Schneider, equally culpable. Go fuck yourself. But he's not the villain. He's just a part of the villain syndicate.
Well, that made that comment you guys said when I said oh, blah blah blah. I said the villain, and somebody said, no, it gets better.
Not the villain, just
a villain.
That was Herm. That was Herm all the way. Got to give credit where credit is due.
I have to agree with you, Chris, because it was marketed to lead you to believe that Dan Schneider did all the diddling and all the bad shit. After the first episode is when they're like, all right, we're going to put Dan on the back burner. He's off the hook for now. And then the PA, holy shit.
Well, no, yeah, I knew right off the rip that it wasn't just Dan Schneider from the moment they opened it.
Well, I did too, but
from the moment they opened it, because it talks about children that had issues with people they were supposed to trust.
Right.
So I kind of had a feeling the way they ended it and closed it out that there had to be more, because immediately they tell you by people they were supposed to trust.
Right.
So I knew more was coming with Dan, and I was already into 2, and when you started watching 1 and made the comment, so I was like, oh no, just a villain. There's more villains coming.
Yeah.
It's like real villains, like horrible, like worse.
Oh yeah.
I'm just saying how the actual trailer paints the picture.
Oh yeah, the trailer wanted you to believe that Dan Schneider was Hitler.
I'm not saying that it was unjustly so.
Yeah, but there's other things like there's things on social media accounts, and a lot of the things that Amanda has has said and posted, and things about age and being pregnant by a producer at 14, and whether these are true or not, ladies and gentlemen, after watching the special, whether they covered that with Dan or not, I can totally see that being a thing. Dan was basically grooming her. All right. And they kind of dropped it right there and went on to what was definitively, because they were arrested, heavier criminals. Dan was grooming the living shit out of her. So I wouldn't, I can't without a doubt say that Amanda was just crazy when she said some of the things she said.
No, not at all. And one of the things before Lynch starts, the scenes with Ariana Grande, who I find to be reprehensible in life,
and
the water, all the slime jokes where it hits them in the face, and they say, and the production assist, all the
pickles look like dicks.
the poor kid in that superhero costume, where the costume, like if he turned sideways, was a set of balls and a dick.
Yes, on his shoulders.
On his
Nose
shoulders,
man.
rather. Nose man. That's it. The little black kid.
Yep.
I'm really shocked that a lot of this. It just goes to show you how deeply it was covered back in the day when it happened, because that very first girl who brought up accusations against the PA got fired and he got back. Come on, man.
Look,
come on.
Norman Lear fought hard for that one scene on All in the Family where someone called George Jefferson the N-word, and in a strange turn of events, Archie stood up for George. But it was the first time on network television you heard that word.
Yeah.
And Norman Lear fought for that. That's a little bit different than having a young lady who ostensibly Ariana or even Amanda Bynes were 14, 15, 16 years old at the time. They're blossoming into young women, and to have them laying upside down with water or skimpy shorts or whatever the fuck, even that young lady that Herm referenced who kind of aged herself out by hitting puberty and becoming curvy instead of the innocent little girl. There are standards and practices at all of these major networks. How this got by S&P, I'll never know.
Because they just, the kids love it. Turn a blind eye.
I'm going to tell you this. I never saw a cum shot on He-Man.
Well,
but you did on, what is this show? Eat Your Shorts or Fuck Your Shorts or
all that.
Diddle Your Short? All that. Sorry.
All that.
I know. What's the show with the shorts?
I have no fucking idea. I stopped watching Nickelodeon in probably 1989.
I was going to say our version of Nickelodeon is completely
not the same.
This was like Nickelodeon that happened after we'd aged out of the Nickelodeon thing. Like we were you can't do that on television. We were concerts. We were concerts. Nickelodeon used to put concerts on. Men at Work. I saw numerous concerts on Nickelodeon that we would have never ever seen.
Duran.
Yeah, there was some great shit. But it was different. Most of it was Canadian, and it was stuff that was in syndication, and it was different then.
Yeah, it was a subgenre that Nickelodeon brought to the States, and good on them because it was entertaining shit. I'm not going to lie to you.
No, but the 90s were the like the glory days of that shit.
Pushing the limit. Yeah.
You had Ren and Stimpy.
Yep.
SpongeBob.
SpongeBob is full of so many sexual references and innuendo.
SpongeBob was originally designed as a cartoon for stoners.
Yeah.
Yep.
It was literally.
It was my audience. I was their audience.
It's
no
chowder.
shit.
It's chowder.
Yeah. Yeah.
The innuendos are there,
and they're fucking fabulous.
Right.
I first saw Nickelodeon only because my dad had that 9,000-foot satellite dish on the roof of our house in Mystic in like 1980, 81. I loved it because I thought the You Can't Do That in Television was funny. It was stuff that as a kid you could relate to. I love the fact that they play like old Andy Griffith shows, stuff that was long.
Oh yeah, Nick at Night in the 90s for me was gold.
I'm talking
Dick Van Dyke,
even the mid to late 80s, where they started playing all those old sitcoms and stuff. My Three Sons.
What is it with you guys and My Three Sons?
Just all the old classics. Lucille Ball, who I didn't really. Looking back at it as a 50-year-old, 1-year-old man, I really don't like Lucy, but as a 8, 9, 10-year-old kid, it was entertaining.
The only person I liked on that show was Uncle Charlie.
He was funny. He was a funny fucker.
Thank you. And
Charlie,
Chip, maybe Chip,
the youngest kid, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Maybe Chip.
Yeah, maybe Chip. Uncle Charlie and Chip together was usually a pretty good shit.
Yeah.
They were like Abbott and Costello for
yes,
the 60s.
Yes, it was great. It was great. It was lovely. But the rest of the show could fuck off.
If
But I
my
love-
mom watched this show, she would be so proud of me right now for saying something nice about my 3 sons.
Yeah. I mean, but that was my Nickelodeon. And then I stopped watching probably 2000. I would still catch SpongeBob, Ren and Stimpy, but then they all started coming out in VHS, and I was fucking lazy and had money to burn, so I just bought the VHS sets. So I knew anything from like 2001 till today. I don't know it even existed on Nickelodeon. When they say, "Oh, I was a Nickelodeon star," I'm like, "She was." I didn't know Ariana Grande started on Nickelodeon.
Yeah, I mean,
I had no fucking clue.
Like,
I thought it was Disney.
you know what I mean? Like it was like 97, 98 when Travis was what my back introduction was like it was Franklin, and basically my reintroduction to Nickelodeon was they hadn't done Nick Jr. yet, really. It was just Nick, but it was all early young kid shit in the morning, and then Nick Jr. came out, and that's what I was aware of mostly for a long time. It wasn't till a little later when my kids are old, like Mikey was old enough, and he watched like iCarly and some of the shows.
That was it for me too.
The kids, what was the boy band there from fucking Minnesota?
Big Time Rush.
Yeah, Mikey loved that shit too, but that was the age, he was like 10. But
yeah, with Emma, it was the same thing. And for me, look, I'm as guilty as anyone. When it wasn't Nick, but it was Disney. Same premise. They came out with the show Jessie about the 21-year-old girl who is hired to be the nanny for these little kids.
Yep. And that, I remember that one. And then it was also the show with Keke Palmer.
Yes.
Yes.
I had to live through all that shit.
All the same shit.
You guys are speaking Greek right now.
My daughter would sit there and go,
seriously,
"That's your new girlfriend." I'm like, "You darn right she is." Hey, my girlfriend could be sitting in the room. "Jessie's your girlfriend." I'm like, "You darn right she is. Look at her." No. But she was promoted, and the show was based about this 21-year-old girl comes to New York, needs a job, gets a job as a nanny for these 3 kids, and adventures.
Yeah, it was Charles in Charge with
a hot girl
with a female. That's really all it was.
But not a female. Not
so
a female.
I don't know anything about most of that regular Nickelodeon thing from like 85, 86.
Yeah, we'd have to ask somebody with younger children how that works, and if they even let their kids watch it, because I don't know what Nickelodeon does now outside of making football games even worse.
Oh God.
No, I got to be honest. I've watched a couple of those football games, and they're really interesting to watch, man. They're really, really good.
I watched one. I can't do it.
It's not bad. I don't mind it. I can see how a kid could totally watch that game and stick with it versus another. And that's really how I watched it, just kind of to grade it. Like, I'm not going to choose that every option, but if I had to watch a football game that way, I could do it. It wasn't bad.
if you're a 12-year-old kid and you're
or 8 years old,
your way, yeah,
that's fucking awesome way to watch football. Have that party in your room with a couple of friends. That's a great Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, I can see that a little bit.
So
a little bit.
Going back to the special for a minute, with each subsequent kid that they brought out and interviewed, when it hit to the kid from Josh and Drake, wow, holy fucking shit! Like, my empathy was just like oozing out of me. And
yeah, Drake Bell,
because I recognize the kid, but I don't know the significance. I don't have kids, and I never watched that shit. But my heart went out to him, man. That was, and the reason it was a big deal now is because that was his identity was sealed because he was a minor when all this shit went down. And to say it almost 30 years or however many years it's been, 22 years later, that's a huge deal. I mean, it makes you look back at the man who he became after that in his career trajectory after going through all that bullshit.
Yeah, he went through some stiff shit.
I don't, no pun intended. I don't
Oh, Jesus.
I don't doubt any word.
I'll edit that out of production.
I don't doubt any fucking word
Good granny.
that he says or any of the other child actors that were there present in the day, in the moment. I don't doubt a fucking shred of what they said.
Mhm.
I know a lot of these specials are painted in a way where, you know, they're going to portray. They just portrayed Dan Schneider as the villain, introduce him as the king of this dysfunction. That is not the junction.
Nice drop in.
And watch all this shit. Watch all this shit go down around him. I said it the other day. He's guilty of being a shitty boss, an egomaniac, and a narcissist. All those are provable facts just based upon the interviews. But to turn a blind eye and knowing that this guy was fired, rehired, had a past of pedophilia, and allow him around kids, knowing and witnessing and listening to stories that these people would tell that they're proud of their pedophilia. How in any fucking good gravy world?
Schneider.
No, but still.
No, he went to Disney, even better.
But still, he could run his mouth and say, "Hey, don't hire this guy. He just got fired off of my set for being a fucking kid diddler." They'll do that for somebody who gets pulled over for fucking drunk driving, like Mel Gibson, and ruin his fucking career. And he helped himself, but he had a resurgence. They'll do that for that kind of crime. Well, for somebody who's diddling fucking kids, you're not going to pick up the phone and say, "We might want to rethink that hire." Because if you don't think that they didn't know that he was getting hired over there, you're fucking living in unicorn land. Because that shit like that travels fast through Hollywood. And for them to bury it this fucking deep for so fucking long, I mean, is it really something that they needed to revisit? I'm sure for that young man's sanity, it was worth it to revisit that and just get it the fuck out of his system.
Right.
Tell his story from his side.
But how long did guys like when the rumors, and I say the rumors because I wasn't there, turned out to be semi-true or very true in some cases, the rumors about Cosby or the rumors about Harvey Weinstein? Take your pick. You know, they pick and choose in that world. In that world, that's its own world.
It is an exclusive bubble, and they all know what each other is doing, and that's the problem with situations like this. Harvey Weinstein was a casting couch motherfucker from the beginning of his career. He told Sharon Stone, "You should fuck him, her castmate, so you have better chemistry. I think it'll film better." Okay, these people have big mouths. Makes me want to be your
castmate.
Well, the problem is there are no secrets in fucking Hollywood.
No.
And for people to pretend that there are, no. Everybody knew Cosby was fucking roofie and fucking young ladies. He made a fucking stand-up routine about it.
It's like
if you overlay that over the stories of these women being diddled, raped, or however you want to fucking say it. I hate saying the R word because it's just a violent fucking word. But
it's meaningful, and I don't understand why people are. Look, if it happened to someone I know, and it has, say it. Say it. Don't dance around it. I have friends who killed themselves. You know what the popular term is now? Unalived.
Yeah.
No, motherfucker. They
turned their own
themselves.
They turned the off button.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Don't dance around it because of somebody's fifis. Knock it off.
Well, here's the problem.
I'm not saying that to you. I'm saying that in general.
No, here's the problem with the way society has handled and sometimes still handles those cases. They put the blame on the victim. Well,
yes,
you shouldn't have been dressed like that. Well, you should have known better. Well, why would you ever go out with him to be? All right, you're all playing fucking Tuesday night quarterback now because you weren't there.
Yep.
Why make somebody who's potentially gone through an emotional and physical abuse at the hands of a fucking demon, as far as I'm concerned, anybody would do that to another human being, In the court of Chris, that would be a very quick trial.
Oh, absolutely.
You got DNA evidence? Yeah. You got the rape kit? Yeah. Bailiff, take him out back and take care of him.
Whack his
That's it.
pee-pee.
No. Bullets are cheap.
Right. Look, there was a young lady,
especially if it's a fucking child involved.
There was a young lady years ago that I used to work with who lamented the fact that I can't go out anywhere and guys treat me like a slut and this and that and the other thing. And I said, it's presentation. It's all presentation. You can get dressed up and look fantastic, and guys will be all over you because you are a very beautiful woman. But if you dress like a $2 whore, you're going to get treated like a $2 whore. It's how you present yourself. That's not to say that come Halloween or dance night at the
woman dressed exactly the same, made up exactly the same, depending on how she carries herself and her body language is how she will be judged. I'm not saying it's right, but the same thing goes for me. If I put on a nice suit and I walk out nice and I go to a bar, I can either be a nice guy or I can just be some asshole in a suit. Same thing. It's how you present it. It's the addition of elegance and
thank you for that word,
sophistication.
Yeah,
both of you, good job.
It's the introduction of elegance that changes the perception.
Bingo. Because when I see her in a suit, you got to remember, I live on the inside of this fishbowl. If I see her in a suit, the only words I'm hearing are, "Will the defendant please rise?"
Is what time is court?
Right. But seeing some of the wedding videos and the other packages he's done, he gets in a suit. My man cleans up nice. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Damn Skippy does.
You know, people who know me for years and years see me when I go out on the road and I got a collared shirt and I got pressed pants and I got nice polished shoes, and they go, "Oh, look at you all dressed up nice." I'm like, kind of part of the job.
Hey, look, I even got fresh underwear on.
Because I'm T-shirt and jeans Jones.
I'm dressed for work.
Yeah. I'm dressing for the job I'm doing. Thank you very much. Now, if tomorrow I got a call from, and I'm just going to throw this out here, Lynch's company, and they said, "Hey, Chris, heard a lot about you. Like to interview you. Think I'm going to show up in T-shirt, jeans, and a ball cap?" No. I'm going to show up looking the part of I want a job. And then you look around and you see, well, Lynch is wearing T-shirt and jeans. Bob over there is wearing T-shirt and jeans. Guess maybe I can wear T-shirt and jeans. It's simple. You want respect? Dress for respect. I'm not saying to any ladies out there, please do not get me wrong before all the hate mail comes in to cburns19@gmail.com. I'm not saying don't dress sexy, because look, if you got it, flaunt it. But it's how you carry yourself. And in Hollywood, it's not about carrying yourself. It's about getting yourself noticed. And guys like Cosby and guys like Harvey Weinstein, and there's a plethora of others, Ron Jeremy being one of them.
Oh, degenerate piece of shit.
That are scumbags and will take advantage of you because of your look, your dress, and your demeanor.
And their status. Because if it's their status will get, if you're a young starlet, 19, 20 years old, just breaking in, their status is what they're after.
You know why this bothers me so much?
You get a young girl, vulnerable, looking for a fucking job, who's been struggling. Let's say she's 24 years old, struggling for 4 fucking years, barely making ends meet, and he comes up with a proposition. He paints this girl into a corner based upon her vulnerability, and he knows I'm her ticket to a fucking job. So then the vulnerable moment happens. It's disgusting. And unfortunately, it could be a win-win situation.
It could. You could end up Scarlett Johansson, or you could end up Betsy Jones.
Dead.
Yeah. You know why stuff like this bothers me so much and has for the last 2 decades? It's because I'm the father of a daughter. And she is No, look, I'm not saying this in any way, shape, or form that can be construed any other way than I'm a dad that looks at my daughter and says, I want to kill every man that looks at her.
She's a good-looking kid. You can't
She is
deny it.
grown. She is growing into a beautiful woman.
You cannot deny it. And I hate to say it. I'm not saying this about your kid, but you look at
I'll kill you.
You look at other people's kids, and as they grow, you're like, man, I hope she gets some of dad's ugly gene, because that's gonna be a long road at fucking 16 years old. Not that I would ever say that about my goddaughter.
I know. God help me here. Look,
but you gotta take it. There's
I
certain
do.
features about her that I see in her face that are you. The rest, you got nothing to do with.
Mm-mm.
But
The-
I
am okay. I am
feel that.
okay. I am okay if she gets 90% of her looks from her mom. And look, I've said some horrible shit about my ex-wife on this show. She was, and always will be a beautiful woman. In many cases, that's where I'm going to leave it. But I'm glad she has my intelligence, my logic. She can out-argue me now, which pisses me the fuck right off. But she is a good-looking young woman. And now she's dating, and I have to tell her, look, you have two choices in life. You can be the girl that everybody knows because of your rep, or you can be the girl that everybody knows because you are selective and you understand that your life and your time and your person has value. I'm thankful that so far she's gone that particular route, not the latter.
I mean,
But yeah,
I feel,
the Hollywood bubble can suck it.
and it's a bubble
Yeah,
that's
see,
always
I
gonna
have
be there.
I gave all the boys a completely different outlook and vibe.
This is why I'm going to shoot Herm next time I see him.
I told my sons that there are a lot of fish out there, and there are way more than 31 flavors at this Baskin Robbins, and that you should try all of the flavors that you think you want to try. If that flavor looks good, you should try it, but you should keep yourself safe.
Good. I'm glad to hear that, because I was about to kill your ass.
And always be honest.
Oh,
If you're not, and always be honest. Look, if you just want tonight, be honest. This girl might not be into that, but she'll appreciate your honesty. And it's the truth. Until you're ready to settle down, dude, there's a million flavors. Try them all. Keep yourself safe, be respectful, and be honest.
All right.
I never thought I'd utter these words live on a broadcast, but ladies and gentlemen, this will be Herm's last broadcast with this on conjunction. I hope you've enjoyed his time here.
Right?
Let me.
He's been really great for the program. He's done some really good things in his time here. We wish Herm the very best in his continued endeavors.
Here, I'm going to the side. Click cans right here. If you can, no, other way. There we go.
I hear he's going after a PR position somewhere. Anyway,
you've done more PR than some.
From your fucking lips, Herm, to my father's mouth is exactly what he told me when I was like 14 or 15 years old.
I hate you both.
He's like,
be honest, be respectful, keep yourself safe.
He said there's a couple things that women like about a guy other than looks. Be honest with them, treat them with respect, and if they ask you if they're fat, you always say no. And we laughed.
Unless she's into that shit.
And then he said, I'm not opposed to you doing what you got to do. You're 15, 16 years old. You're a walking fucking hormone. I know you got porn stashed in your fucking bedroom. Just don't let your mother find it. Figure it out.
It's called don't hide it in your sock drawer.
No, he said figure it out before you make that commitment, because you're gonna go through a lot till you find the one. I mean, I brought home a black girl when I was in college. She went to the bathroom. We went, good job. I mean,
nice.
You know what I mean? But literally,
she was very pretty.
as a father, I know what your feelings are, but as a person and thinking about it from an adult, I don't you feel that if he's respectful, he's honest, then he leaves it up to her to make and respectful and honest allows the lady to make the decision she wants to make in the moment. You know what? And unfortunately, as a dad of a daughter, I know it sucks, but it literally comes down to he's nice, he's respectful. I'm gonna make the decision to do it. There's no push. There's no draw in. There's no dissension. I guess it was for me that was presenting the best possible situation for
Understood.
him. For him, you know what I mean? And I guess as a parent, I would expect the same thing out of a young lady. Be respectful, be honest.
Young Michael was warned before I met him. My dad is going to grill you, and he is not going to be happy with any of your answers. So you better bring your A game. So this past July, late July, early August, I went to Vermont for my niece's 16th birthday party. And they've recently split. Emma's focusing on school, and she just passed her driver's test and yada, yada, yada. And
Yeah, I saw
see-
she was looking for a cheap car.
so, okay, I'm waiting for Herm to get back on this one so I can tell this story, and it actually carries weight. So I show up at the pool party for Cammie and her 16th birthday, and I'm talking to Chris, which is Cammie's father. I'm talking to everybody, seeing people I haven't seen in years. We're all having a great time, and there's a tap on my shoulder. I turn around. He goes, "Mr. Burns? Okay, you already have my attention. Good job, kid.
My father's here.
Nope. My name's Michael. I understand you want to talk to me." Yes, sir. Yes, sir, I do. See those two chairs over there? Get them ready. I'm going to go grab a beer, and we're going to talk. And I was nice. I didn't do the angry dad routine. I was like, okay. So, how are your grades? I get straight A's. Okay. How can I prove that? My mom's standing right over there. You can ask her. All right. Don't necessarily need to. You gave me the nugget I needed. If I have to go over to mom and go, "How's Michael's grades?" "Oh, this dude's grades are in the pisser." I'm gonna kill him already. So what do you like to do? "Well, I play on the baseball team." Fuck, you got me. Okay, I don't want to like this guy. I don't want to like this guy. What do you want to do with your life? He's like, "Well, I'd really like to be a lawyer, but for me, I think I'd like to be a public defender and help those who can't help themselves." I'm like, motherfucker, how do I not like this guy?
So you want to be poor? Fuck off. Get out.
No, dude, my public defender, I've seen her house. I've delivered to her house. Bitch makes bank.
Yes, I'm sure she makes bank. And then you go to all the other lawyers in private practice.
Hold that thought.
That are defense lawyers.
That was going to be my point.
Houses
She's
that
not-
are 4 times as big.
She's not making John Heyman money, but she's making better money than the three of us combined. She's got a big ass house on a big ass hill. She's Ric Flairing this shit. But he just got me. He's very socially conscious. Some of the groups he was involved in, he told me about in school, the extracurricular activities. And I'm like, all right, Michael, I'm going to tell you this right now before I let you go back and party with the kids. I want to hate you. In fact, I want to kill you, throw you in the back of the truck and drive you back to Connecticut and drop you in different places around the state. However, I'm going to let you live because you're a nice guy. Now, they split up, whatever, mutual. Emma's focusing on her thing. Michael's focusing on his thing. I go to Emma's Sweet 16 party. Who's the first person to come up and stick his hand out? It's like, Chris? I did tell him to call me Chris. I'm like, Michael? Yeah, how are you? It's good to see you again. How have you been? How's your show? How's your back? Emma told me about your back. This kid is playing his cards correctly. They will end up back together, I swear to God. However, but that's what Herm's talking about. Show that respect. And Emma will tell you that Michael respects her. So props
that's
to
good.
him.
That's good to hear that they're still good, level-headed, square head planted square in their shoulders. Guys like that
And-
out there now, especially at 16 years old.
Oh, yeah. And the best thing about him is he liked the new movie Roadhouse, which Lynch didn't. So let's let Lynch rant for a minute before we tell him why he's
Wait
wrong.
a minute. Before this asshole goes on his bullshit rant. All right.
Are you listening to this? Are you listening to this?
Who?
What?
Yeah, I'm talking to the fish.
Yeah. He's
There's no dick fish. Nobody cares.
All right. So unfortunately, I made the mistake of saying I was watching Roadhouse, and Lynch then immediately turned it on his end. Okay. So Chris started watching it, and I threw a couple of lines out and left it alone.
Yeah.
And it was good. And then Lynch started watching the fucking movie.
And it all went to hell.
And I got to be honest. I know Megan wasn't at home when he did this, but I'm pretty sure Lynch turned fucking black while he watched Roadhouse. All right. This asshole was like, I'm getting shit pop up like, that tattoo's stupid. Nothing. Wow. Post Malone's fucking fat. He's making all these other observances of the fucking movie. And like, asshole, shut the fuck up and watch the movie. He's like, I'm sorry. This is what Megan has to deal with when we watch a movie here at the house. And she's not here at the house. So I have my black on and you're going to have to get used to it. I'm waiting for him to yell like, bitch, don't go in there. Like,
don't know.
Just don't go in there. He's gonna kill you. I'm like, I gotta be honest, Megan Lynch. If this is what you have to fucking endure, because I understand, because my wife will join me mid fucking movie
and expect to catch you up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Is that the guy that was on the horse that she was talking about?
Why are they so angry at the guy in the white suit? Shut the fuck up.
How come they're mad at that guy?
Why do they keep picking on Fredo?
For real. Like 3 or 4 questions, like, just watch the fucking movie.
Thank you.
To be fair, that's usually what I hear from her.
The fucked up part is I can watch a movie in any order. I watch every movie like fucking Pulp Fiction.
Yeah. It's all
Jennifer
over the place.
Not do this. Jennifer has to sit down and watch it. So she'll come in the middle of a movie that I'm seeing all of it, but 30 minutes in the middle, and she has 486 fucking questions
to cover that.
And all I want to do is finish the fucking movie so I get it.
I've seen the beginning. I've seen and I need the middle.
Yeah, like Megan Lynch. If this is what you have to fucking go through every time this asshole watches a movie, I am so fucking sorry.
Should be nominated for sainthood.
God, sainthood right now.
And they never
Saint Megan.
No, for real. It was like the most obscure shit ever. That tattoo is stupid. The fuck? You judgmental prick. Watch the fucking movie. He's fat. Oh, what's up with the body shaming now, asshole?
All right. And we're going to go back to, instead of roasting Lynch, we're going to go back and roast this fucking peanut of a movie.
It was good.
All right. So I didn't see the first Roadhouse until later in life. I didn't see it when it came out.
Roadhouse.
So I saw it at 22, 23. So I watched it. It was good for the time. Cheesy 80s pulp. Love Sam Elliott. I think he should get an award every time he's on screen because he's just.
He should get an award for reading the phone book.
I love him.
The Buick Riviera should have won a Grammy.
Yeah, I fucking love him.
Just saying.
his voice,
That car
his
is the
demeanor.
reason I owned a Buick Riviera.
Um,
Love that.
Patrick Swayze, whoever the fuck else was in the movie, I don't even remember the first movie.
Kelly Lynch.
Kelly Lynch, yes, no relation, I don't think.
Kelly Lynch, no relation.
Harry motherfucking fuck.
That's right. Terry Funk.
Harry Funk. I
Okay.
just
I was not enamored with it as the people in my same age group who saw it earlier when it first came out. When it was on, I would stop and watch it because it was one of those movies. It's so bad it's good. Totally fucking cheesy. Maybe that's what they were trying to recreate with this version. But Conor McGregor,
it totally had an amount of cheesiness.
absolutely
Cheese
from
factor.
the word go, it was cheese.
It was.
And Jake Gyllenhaal with his one-liners were kind of funny. I felt that was a decent way to address this character.
But he was
now your arm's broken.
He was so dry. That's what made it funny as fuck.
And the way
He was
his performance
and the comedy man at the same time.
His performance was really good. I will give the credit where credit's due. He did a really good job with what he was given.
I'm a Gyllenhaal fan. I got to be honest.
I'm a huge Gyllenhaal fan. Jarhead's one of my favorite movies of his. Great fucking movie.
I don't like his sister, and I'm glad she got blown up by the Joker.
Conor McGregor, from the minute he got on screen, was a total fucking distraction because he just can't fucking act.
He owned every scene he was in.
For real, he was fucking magnificent.
That was another one. Why is he naked?
Because like he's like, why is he naked? I'm like, he jumped. You didn't hear the glass break? He jumped out a second floor fucking window, but because a husband was chasing him. He just jumped out the fucking window and then walked down and beat the shit out of somebody and stole his clothes.
If he acted a little,
he was that fucking confident. It was a beautiful role for McGregor. It literally was.
It fits his
for him.
It does fit his personality.
And he didn't act. He didn't walk all special for that role. That's literally how that fucker walks.
Harm. Lynch could watch Gone with the Wind and wonder why Rhett Butler's mustache is so pencil thin. This is starting to become the vein in my forehead. Just keeps popping out when he starts talking about movies.
I was expecting better performance. That's all. Maybe like pretend like you took an acting class. And the girl the black girl was just fucking horrible. In and out of the story. The girl who played the girlfriend or whatever she fucking
loved her. Don't you say another goddamn word. I'll kill you.
I've
seen, the nurse. I saw her somewhere else, and it was Suicide Squad. She was in the second Suicide Squad.
Yes. Okay.
She was really good in that, and I think I like her. I think she was probably one of the saving graces for me of that movie.
All I can hear when he says that is Pee Wee Herman. Dottie, I like you. I like
you. But I don't know. I just didn't enjoy it. Maybe I'll have to rewatch it. Sometimes it takes another watch to get.
All right.
Just to turn my brain off. And
just Eminem it. Just lose yourself in the music, in the moment. Amazing fucking soundtrack.
Spaghetti.
It was a great soundtrack.
Amazing fucking soundtrack.
I love the fight choreography. I said this pre-show, but it was directed by Doug Liman, who has directed a bunch of the Bourne movies, which are all the choreography and the gunplay in there are always fucking good. I love the fight scenes. More fight scenes, probably would have loved it more.
If I told you guys months ago I didn't want to watch this movie, I did not. And then, of course, I heard the most magical word in the English language, free. So I said, all right, it's a Sunday. I got until 3:30 to go to Casa del Mar to watch the race. I'm going to watch this movie. But before I clicked the button, I had it up on the screen. I'm like, all right, you have to put your biases aside. You have to watch this as a standalone. And you have to, I'm talking to myself in my head. You have to just give it its credit where credit is due. Now, I liked some of the drop-ins that harkened back to the first one when he pulls up off
immediately
the bus.
stop, the Double Deuce restaurant.
Correct.
Perfect.
I like the fact that at one point he says, "Be nice." He doesn't say it the way Swayze said it, but he kind of paraphrased.
Right. Basically, he teaches the same thing. Be nice.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The more it went on, I like the fact that they modernized it a little bit with the rogue cop. And the rogue cop happens to be, spoiler alert, if you don't like what I'm about to say, fast forward about 15 seconds, you'll miss it. The rogue cop happens to be the father of the nurse.
Right.
But at the end, it all ties in together. I watched this movie as if this was the first time a movie called Roadhouse was ever put out there. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Would I watch it again? Maybe. Would I do like I do with Scarface, Roadhouse 1, Major League? Would I watch this multiple times? No. But it was entertaining for what it
But
was.
if it
And it
comes across the
was
screen while I'm doing shit, I won't. I'll watch. I'll leave this on.
sure. But what this was, I will call it a valiant attempt at recreating the first one and giving you a little bit more now than just making the same movie from the 80s that was made in the 80s.
Right. I like
That
they
would have
didn't
sucked.
completely recast it wasn't the same environment. It was not the same movie. It was they cherry picked a few details from the original. It's literally like a movie based on Roadhouse. It's
I could say the same thing, and I know you guys heard me talk about this before. Being a Von Erich fan, watching The Iron Claw, and the first thing they say is based on a true story. I
right.
didn't
So
expect accuracy.
there's a half a dozen things that are extremely specifically correct, and it's a story over time that we're using, not the
Right.
exact biographical thing.
Right. By the way,
Now-
have either of you two watched The Iron Claw?
Not
No.
yet.
Go
Not
fuck
yet.
yourself. Go fuck yourself
well,
sideways.
I've told you the Von Erich thing just wasn't my thing.
And I don't pay for movies.
It literally
It'll be
sits
free
right up-
soon enough.
Yeah,
it
that's
sits
what I
right up
figure.
there with wanting to watch it as much as Barbie.
Watch me say this one more time, Lynch. Gujara.com. Just
Yeah,
go.
I've tried it. Like it's hit or miss with me, man. With the quality. If
I
want-
watched the Iron Claw on Gujara before it was released on Amazon. Yes, I paid for it, and yes, I own it for the rest of my life now because I want to. But Gujara for that movie, incredible quality.
I'll give it a shot tonight. I'm gonna see. I have a Fire Stick, and I fucking hate my Fire Stick because
You have a
can't
what
stand-
dick?
Fire Stick. Oh,
Oh,
and
see,
I
because
fucking
my
hate
brother
it.
dated a girl called Fire Bush.
Yes, we've been over that.
Yeah, you do.
You went over that.
Continue.
And the biggest flaw with the Fire Stick is it doesn't have enough memory, and you can't add anything to it. These new breakout boxes, they're not that they're upgradable, but they come standard with more flash memory. So you could download more apps and do things on. They're a little bit more user friendly with third party apps.
Well,
Like
I'll throw this out. I'll throw this
can
out
buy
here
it.
to you and to Herm. Go ahead, please.
You can buy a $29.99 at Walmart, the house brand on ONN, 4K streaming device, jailbreak it,
Mhm.
and for $3 a month, you can get everything in the fucking world on your television in high def. I don't do that
Okay.
because I'm not going to pay to pirate because I'm just that guy. If I'm going to sail the pirate seas, I'm going to do it the old-fashioned way and dig.
Mhm.
But
You have a laptop. Obviously, you have a PC. You're sitting in front of it.
yeah, I have
I'm not saying.
I have this laptop and I can broadcast it to the TV via the interwebs router there. I'll try that tonight.
A couple weeks ago, I took a Tuesday off. I had a searing headache, and I told you guys, I'm like, dude, got this headache. Took the day off. I'll see you showtime. So what I did was, at one point, the light through my window, even with the blinds, was too bright. So I came down here, turned all the lights off, put on Gujar, and I watched The Iron Claw for the 840th time since it was released in December. And I lost myself on this little screen. It was pristine. It was gorgeous.
I'll try it.
Jake Gyllenhaal and that movie get one thumb up from me and one thumb in the middle, only because I thought there were certain parts of that movie that were a little too much. All right, the truck crash on the bridge was a little too much.
Yeah, that was a little bit much.
All right, but
and inject some action in there.
We're gonna go around the horn. I'm giving it a thumb and a half. Herm, what would be your rating? Thumb and a half. Lynch is giving it
for Gyllenhaal in his performance, and the girl played the nurse. One thumb here. For everything else, and the action and fighting scenes, they were great.
Okay.
Everything else can go fuck itself.
Wow. You were nicer than I thought you were going to be.
Again, I want to leave this critique open for future review. I will watch it again. I'll watch it again at a random time. Because I can't.
But go into it open. You're watching a movie called Roadhouse for the first time.
I have to put myself in that mindset.
Your biases have to go to the south.
And that was the whole problem, because I had already read some pre-reviews and like how much of fucking dog shit it was.
Oh, good Christ.
It's out of my system. I'll revisit it another time.
I'll buy it. Fair enough.
I've done it with a ton of movies. I hated it the first time, and then it grows on me. Like Napoleon Dynamite. I fucking hated the first time I watched it.
Oh, same here. First time I watched it, I thought it was the dumbest shit.
Then I watched it 6 months later because it was on HBO. I found myself laughing. And I watched it again a couple months later when it became an in-joke with my friends, some of my friends who loved Napoleon. It grew on me. I could watch that movie all day, every day. It's comedy gold. Hated it when I first saw it.
I'll tell you this story. When I was working at Benny's, and they were selling, even though it was like years out of whack, the Billy Bass. You click it, it sings songs, and the tail waggles. Young lady that worked with us, I never had designs on her. I was with somebody and whatever, but I always messed with her. And I had heard her one day reference Napoleon Dynamite. So one day I was unloading boxes, and there was a Billy Bass, and I held it up. I'm like, "Hey, I caught you a delicious bass." And the laughter ensued for about 20 minutes as we just were quoting the movie. Easily quotable movies, I think, are all of our favorites.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest with you, too, Clerks, I wasn't a huge fan the first time I saw it. It took 2 or 3 more times.
I love the first Clerks, but I still think it's not the best of the 3.
2 is the best.
2 is the best.
2 is the best of the
like
3.
I could look at Herm right now and go, I could do things, Mikey. I'm smart.
Right.
I'm not dumb.
Leave the gun, take the cannoli.
Get the cannoli.
I got 2 things in this world. My word and my balls, and I don't break them for nobody.
Mm-hmm.
We won a game yesterday. No, I'm sorry. We won a game today. We won a game yesterday. If we win one tomorrow, that's called a winning streak. It has happened before. On that note, we're going to let you guys go, and we're going to let us guys go. And we will see you next week, hopefully with Matt Marsh or not. We don't know. Get Matt Marsh. So send your hate mail to junctiondysfunctionshow@gmail.com or to any one of us on the socials, and we will read your hatred on the air. And please tell your friends. Join us. And watch the Iron Claw. Arrgh.
Ooh.
Judgment falls upon you. Dying
If you like tonight's show, send us some money. I've got a bridge I'd like to sell you in Baltimore. Supplies are limited. Call now.